Warning, the player selections you're about to see may flop miserably. FPL TV cannot be held responsible for any of your own transfer shockers. Please, FPL responsibly.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Point Predictor, the series where I try to predict 5 players that I think will return points in the upcoming FPL Gameweek. I can't just pick any player though. The catch is I can only choose one player per club, and I have to follow the category shown on screen. Seeing as though there was no Point Predictor for last week, let's first see how my predictions from back in Game Week 2 got on. So it was just the 2 from 5 correct predictions 2 game weeks back, with popular options Haaland and Martinelli returning a goal and assist between them. Nothing for my differential picks of Bamford and Bowen, however, with the former sadly getting injured after just 27 minutes against Southampton. So let's move on to my Game Week 4 predictions now, and see who I think could be in the points this weekend. As always at this point, I want to make it clear that these are simply predictions, and I am no tipster. This series is simply for entertainment purposes only, and only you are in control of your FPL team and transfers. For my defensive pick for Game Week 4, I've opted for Reece James. The in-form and consistent Kieran Trippier a strong consideration here, but I've opted for Reece James as I just had to include a Chelsea player in the Point Predictor somewhere this week, with their upcoming home fixture against Leicester in mind. Do I expect the Chelsea clean sheet here? Well, considering how they defended in the previous game, probably not. But notably, James Maddison's apparent injury for Leicester could certainly help things. The reason I've opted for James here, despite Chelsea shipping 3 to Leeds last time out, is that I'm expecting Tuchel to respond here, and hopefully move James back to his natural position as right wing back. In that position, we know how dangerous he can be going forward, and Leicester are statistically the worst team defensively from the opening 3 game weeks, already conceding 8 goals in 3 and also 10 big chances, the most of any team for both metrics. Given these stats, I really think there's a good chance of attacking returns for Reece James here, and that's why I've opted for him. For the budget midfielder, below the price of 8 million, of course the Leeds midfielders all came into mind here. But with them on the road to Brighton this week, I've opted for Ilkay Gundogan instead. The German has thus far been a gem of an FPL pick in the City midfield this season, as in the first 3 games we've seen him getting into some very promising positions, just like we did a couple of seasons back, almost playing as a second striker to Haaland currently. This is certainly backed up in the underlying stats as well, because amongst midfielders, Gundogan is currently the 4th highest for touches inside the opponent's box, 19 touches in just 3 games. As well as having this knack of arriving in the box at the right time, he's so far posting decent creative numbers too, because he's currently also 4th amongst midfielders for chances created with 9, only bettered by Salah, De Bruyne and Jack Harrison. With that considered, and the fact that his opponents Palace have so far conceded the most shots inside the box of any team in the opening 3 games, it seems there's a good chance statistically of a return from Gundogan here. Of course, as a longer term pick, there's always a concern that he either gets rotated, or perhaps Pep tweaks his tactics and that can nullify Gundo's threat significantly. But for now, in this current role, he's looking a nifty cut price way into this City midfield. For the midfielder of any price this game week, I've opted for Mo Salah. In all honesty, I'm not as convinced of a Salah return in this fixture as perhaps I should be, because simply Liverpool just haven't looked at it so far this season. It's purely the fixture on paper here for Game Week 4 that's simply too good to ignore. And with the Egyptian being at home to Bournemouth this week, a side that have just shipped 7 goals in their last 2 games, let's just say he's not a horse I'd be comfortable betting against. Interestingly, Salah does have a particularly exceptional record against the Cherries in the Premier League, having faced them 6 times in the past and not blanking once against them in FPL. He boasts 8 goals and 1 assist against them over those 6 games, so he is hoping he continues that trend this weekend. For the budget forward this week, below the price of 8 million, I've opted for Ivan Toney. Brentford have opened this season in excellent goal-scoring form, already netting 8 times in just the opening 3 game weeks, scoring a minimum of 2 in each game so far. Granted, their expected goals of 4.8 is significantly lower, which shows their goal scoring is bound to regress sooner rather than later, but it also shows just how clinical and confident they've been in front of goal. So, against an unconvincing Everton side with just 1 point from their opening 3 games and notably no clean sheets, a good chance for Brentford to continue their form in front of goal this weekend it seems. The reason this makes Toney an appealing option in particular is that from the 8 goals that Brentford have scored so far, Toney has a goal involvement of 50%, with 2 goals and 2 assists, meaning if the Bees do continue to find the net against Everton, then the forward has a good chance statistically of being a part of it. When compared to other forwards, his shots inside the box are noticeably lower, only managing 5 in the box so far and just 2 shots on target, both which went in. But interestingly, amongst forwards, Tony is currently highest for chances created on 7, showing that he's good value for his 2 assists so far and has more routes to FPL points than just goal scoring. For the forward of any price this week, I've opted for the astronomically popular Gabrielle Jesus. Arsenal head into Game Week 4 in exceptional form, as the only side to win all 3 of their opening Premier League games. They're also the league's joint highest scorers so far, with 9 goals in 3 games, level with Man City, so they're in great shape for this appealing home fixture against Fulham up next. From what I've seen from Fulham in the opening 3 game weeks, they're certainly not going to be pushovers here, and I expect an exciting and competitive game. But notably, despite only conceding 4 goals so far, it's Fulham's big chances conceded that really jumps off the page. The Cottagers have conceded 9 big chances in the opening 3 games, only 3 teams have conceded more than that, so they've certainly been a bit fortunate not to have conceded more goals, and perhaps shows a lack of clinicalness from their opening 3 opponents. With the confident Arsenal attack up next, and Gabrielle Jesus who's looked absolutely electric in every performance for Arsenal so far, if Fulham continue to give up these big chances, then Jesus in the form he's in has a very good chance of a return here. Interestingly, in the opening 3 game weeks, no players had more touches in the opponent's penalty area than Jesus, who's way ahead on 29. Much like Ivan Toney before, he also boasts an excellent goal involvement percentage from the opening 3 game weeks, having a hand in 5 of the 9 goals that Arsenal have scored, 2 goals and 3 assists. So that's my point predictor picks for Game Week 4. Let me know what you make of the choices below, and feel free to comment your own 5-point predictor picks as well, following these categories and just 1 player per club. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to get subscribed to FPL TV. You can also hit the notification bell so you always know when a new FPL TV video goes live. Also, if you haven't already, you can check out my team selection video for Game Week 4, which is already online. If you're interested, I'll put the thumbnail on the screen now so you can click and go and watch it. Good luck for Game Week 4, FPL responsibly, and I'll catch you all next week.